2020 was quite the year. Between an extended quarantine due to the COVID-19 pandemic and global events shaping what may well be a bold new future and hampering most forms of traditional entertainment media, gaming proved to be one of the essential forms of escapism during this time period. And while most of the world was shut in, us gamers had plenty of time to catch up on gaming.
We also finally witnessed the debut of the next generation of hardware that was teased a year ago, which not only provided a new source of enthusiasm, but a modified sense of normalcy as it still left gamers everywhere something to get excited about, while dealing with long wait times on virtual lines as they would in real life.
As such, in lieu of video games aligning with real life, many of the games on this year's list and the choices we made selecting them definitely reflected the year we've had as a society. It's thanks to all this that 2020, in a very weird way, became an introspection of the nostalgia found within gaming and a sense of reflection on how video games echo real-world sentiment and feeling.
Unlike some of the other entries on our list, Dreams went by unnoticed by most with a quiet release that was almost glossed over completely. It drops in our number 10 spot for revitalizing the creator concept in video games, much like the Minecraft, Roblox, and even the Little Big Planet titles. Dreams is a foray into the ever-expanding imaginations of gamers everywhere. Although this type of game has been done before, it is still amazing to behold some of the creations that have popped up, from offshoot demos of people's ideas to full-fledged realizations, all within the framework of an amazing toolset provided by Media Molecule. It's rare when games like this pop up, let alone exist, and we're glad that this dream is real. Oh, capitalism, you perfect muse. For our number 9 spot, Journey to the Savage Planet takes a hilarious and poignant look at the evils of capitalist greed and throws in a sci-fi twist in this Metroid Prime-inspired adventure survival game. Releasing near the onset of 2020 on the major consoles and then seeing a revitalization on the Nintendo Switch towards the end of the year, Journey to the Savage Planet is worth the time to check out. Creative level design with strange alien architecture and a quirky sense of humor all serve to deliver one of this year's best games and what we dub 2020's sleeper hit of the year. Roguelike games have really gotten their shine this generation, with many of the genre making our list year in and year out. Hades, from developer Supergiant Games, takes the popular genre and throws it into the dungeon crawler arena with a twist. Roguelites are always about death and repetition, and Hades cleverly adds that mechanic into its narrative. As the son of Hades, we attempt to escape the underworld to reach Mount Olympus and eventually find our mother, Persephone. Full of mythological staples, a killer soundtrack, and addictive gameplay to boot, Hades brought about a stellar take on a genre that has emerged as a staple in gaming for years to come.
Every year sees a game release that, whether purposefully or through clever timing, seems to mirror real-world events. When the world saw civil unrest due to the Black Lives Matter movement in the wake of the George Floyd tragedy and the sorry state of United States politics in 2020, a game about people rising up against a corporate fascist regime tends to hit close to home. Tonight We Riot embraced the idea, ran it into the end zone, and straight through the parking garage, bringing about a unique beat-em-up title with a thumping soundtrack and equally audacious message. Through clever in-game moments eerily reflecting the protest movements we would see in our own backyard, Tonight We Riot cheekily winked at us with a reflection of what lies within our souls and sent home a fantastic message about the power of the people.
For Bezos!
Coming in at number 6 is one of the most unorthodox games we've played in a long time. Spiritfarer has you playing as Stella, who is charged with ferrying the deceased into the afterlife, mixing a shipbuilding simulation with farming, mining, harvesting, and cooking mechanics to produce a unique adventure game about what it means to let go. You'll encounter a ride on the Fields train as soon as you play through this title. In a year where we've had to say goodbye to loved ones due to the pandemic crisis the world faced, Spiritfarer was indeed timely and taught us all the meaning and value of what we leave behind when we move on.
The long-running Yakuza series has been a Sega staple for the past 15 years in video games, and the impressive staying power it has had is because it has been able to make every entry feel fresh and new. Everything about Like a Dragon screams wacky spin-off, but by embracing the true ridiculousness of Japanese humor in video games, Yakuza Like a Dragon winds up being one of the best entries in the franchise. Introducing a brand new character to the series and starting completely fresh with a new story, Like a Dragon is a perfect entry point for fans and newcomers combined. Don't let the RPG gameplay throw you off though, as it's still as addictive as ever, even with a turn-based combat system and a job system similar to the ones found in your average Final Fantasy game. We're seeing the start of something great with this game, so be sure not to miss this rise. Virtual reality gaming has been on and off this generation, and many games tried to stick landings they never would have made in the first place. Through the available technology with peripherals like Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR, as gamers, we have plenty of options to choose from. True killer apps are few and far between, however, but Valve did manage to bring out a noteworthy achievement that makes us forgive them for not being able to count to 3. Half-Life Alyx is the true virtual reality experience, being able to simulate real-world physics and interactions in ways no other game has been able to. It also provided an intense and somber story, making us eager for the next true entry in the Half-Life franchise to come to fruition. Whenever Valve can get past the number 2, that is.
Oh, you stupid! Wait!
Yeah. Enough said.
Sucker Punch is no stranger to great games, this year giving us the epic samurai magnum opus, Ghost of Tsushima. Inspired by the Kurosawa films of yore, Ghost delivered an amazing tale of honor and revenge set in the backdrop of Kamakura-era Japan. With amazing and somewhat controversial changes to the open-world genre formula, Ghost maintained its own identity while also elevating how open-world games operate. Less busy work and more focus on the go-anywhere, do-anything motif that we champion, Ghost served as an excellent foray for single-player gaming and as a capstone for the PlayStation 4. Not content with just that, Sucker Punch then added a free multiplayer update with co-op missions and survival modes that showcased their developer chops in a brand new light. Culminating with an epic 3-part raid experience for diehards, Ghost of Tsushima stands as a highlight of gaming and is an epic, honorable masterpiece of 2020.
And now for this year's honorable mentions.
Games of the Year.
"2020 was an extremely unprecedented year, not just for gaming, but for the entire world.
Many looked for various methods of coping, some taken to protest for changes in our system, others to song and film and viral social media posts.
Among all these methods, surprisingly enough, video games stepped up to be more than just simple entertainment. And their effects on society shined through perhaps the most this year than any other.
At the start of the global pandemic, many longed for a sense of connection, and Animal Crossing New Horizons just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Not only was it a cute and whimsical game to build your island and meet with friends as showcased on our Twitch streams, but people were able to live out many real-life milestones in-game, both happy and sad, since they couldn't be together physically. It allowed for creative ways to do meetings and socialize. We here at DEE witnessed this firsthand and even attended a virtual convention thanks to MomoCon, which even had its own convention-themed island. The socio-political atmosphere even helped influence the 2020 election, as now President-elect Joe Biden brought his campaign to the virtual landscape of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Anyone who claims to say that video games don't influence society clearly missed the memo written by Tom Nook and company.
Alongside the connectivity that Animal Crossing New Horizons brought us, indie games even took a stride forward in delivering messages of hope and inspiration and genuine feel-good emotions. Two games in particular illuminated the desire for games to make us feel just genuinely happy and remind us about the importance of having fun.
Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout was a breakout success when it launched, shattering Twitch, Steam, and PlayStation Network records in mere days when it dropped. Aside from becoming a streaming sensation, developers Mediatonic and publisher Devolver Digital even utilized Fall Guys as a humanitarian endeavor, with plentiful charitable streams dedicated to helping children affected by the global pandemic throughout the world.
Meanwhile, Among Us, despite releasing in 2018, really got its time to shine in 2020. In part due to featuring similar character designs with Fall Guys, and in part by making strides in the political atmosphere, when Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to streaming it in an effort to educate people on the importance of voting and how voting works within the United States.
Video games are often seen just as an interactive piece of entertainment. Given that these titles encourage socio-political involvement in unprecedented ways to build community and awareness in a positive fashion, it proves that video games can be so much more.
With the power of video games, humanity saw a way to combat the insanity, bring itself together and genuinely put a smile on people's faces and remind itself that things will be okay. People will look back at 2020 and ask how we got through such a tumultuous year. And for many of us, the answer is our Games of the Year.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us across social media for updates. Thanks for watching!